Hello and welcome to reveurovision, where today we're looking at Belgium's entry, The Wrong Place. But will it be getting to the right place on the leaderboard? Firstly, to do a bit of kind of background about Belgium in the Eurovision Song Contest. I mean, it is a long-time competitor. There's only Germany, France, and the UK that have appeared in the contest more times than Belgium. It's struggled in kind of the 21st century a little bit. Back in the noughties, they didn't qualify for the final at all between 2005 and 2009. But in the 2010s, they've done slightly better and they've achieved two fourth place results in 2015 with Like Note. And if we die tomorrow, why do we have to show for the wicked? And in 2017 with Blanche. Now, they won the contest back in 1986, but are they onto a winner this year? Let's have a little. That was Hooverphonic and The Wrong Place. So guys, what do we think of it? James, I'll go to you first.
Well, I think it was a bit of a funny one, to be honest, because I didn't really know what to think. At the start, my first thought was it was sort of like the opening song of a spy movie. It had that sort of feel about it. I mean, I like the movie Spy with Melissa McCarthy. It felt like something that would work well in there. But then it was quite weird because it was sort of like haunted Downton Abbey, because you had them sort of going around this house, the weird haunted house, and then she was in a wedding dress, and I just didn't really know what was going on. And I think that sort of left me feeling more bewildered than anything else. I just felt, I think because of that, because I didn't fully understand it, I didn't then enjoy it as much as I probably would have if I knew what was going on. So I think that was the key thing for me, really.
And Jack, what about you?
So Hooverphonic were going to be the act for Belgium last year, and they've got quite a long history. They've got a celebrated career in Belgium. They're really quite well known. So there was a lot of hype when they were picked for 2020. And then they came out with this song called Release Me. And it was one of my least favorites of last year. It was really, really miserable and repetitive. If it was a dog, you'd put it out of its misery. Like, that's the level of miserable this song was. So I had quite low expectations for Hooverphonic when they were announced to be coming back this year. And I was pleasantly surprised. It is one of my favorite entries of the year. I think maybe the change of musician helps as well, the change of lead singer, because Hooverphonic has like a rotating system of who the lead singer is. And last year, the singer was a fairly young. She'd only just joined the band. She's now left. She came to her senses, and then has been replaced by somebody who was with them for about 15 years. So these are musicians that know each other very well. And I think that show that comes across in The Wrong Place. It's a really interesting song. It's got a really interesting sing-song quality to it, where they're like da 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 da. It jolts backwards and forwards, and it's really memorable. It does stick in the mind. And yeah, I really enjoy it, actually. I find myself getting very unbored listening to it. I sort of, as soon as it's finished, the 3 minutes pass really quickly, and I just want to listen to it again. And that's always a really good sign. So I am very pleasantly surprised by Belgium this year. And yeah, I really, really like it.
Yeah, I think that's quite interesting. I tend to kind of agree with a lot of what has kind of been said so far. I think for me, when I kind of initially heard it, it was a bit of a slow burner and I wasn't kind of too keen. And that's maybe one of the concerns that we might have about people kind of maybe if they're hearing it for the first time at the contest, it might not do as well. But yeah, for me, I kind of, considering it's a slow song, I think it's quite engaging. I think a lot will kind of depend on what they do with staging, because it can kind of uplift it or drag it down, as we know with a lot of these kind of slower songs. But yeah, for me, slow burner, but we've got there in the end, and I'm quite a fan of it now. So it's going to be performing 11th in the first semi-final, just after Croatia and just before Israel. So the question is, do we think it's going to qualify for the final, and where do we think it's going to place? James, I'll go to you.
It probably will qualify, I think. In my head, the way I can see them sort of doing the staging and stuff is like Rise Like a Phoenix with Conchita. I think it could be quite dramatic. Whether or not that will come apart is another thing. But if they do that, it could stand out. I wasn't overwhelmingly impressed to put it that high up in my my listing, so I gave it a score of 25 on the leaderboard. Not too bad, not brilliant, but hopefully I'm surprised and hope to understand it when it's performed live.
Jack, what about you?
Well, I actually disagree with what you think about the staging. I think they're going to play it very moody, like the music video. It's going to be very black and grey and dark browns, that sort of thing. And I think that it's what suits the song. I think it's the staging that would work best. But if you look back at when there are these really dark entries with dark staging, the one that springs to mind was Finland's 2017 Blackbird, which was, as a song, one of the best of the year. But the staging was very dark. When he was in my bed, you sang when my heart sang. And it didn't gel, and I think it didn't qualify from the semi-final. And I, unfortunately, despite absolutely loving the song, I worry that this is going to happen to Belgium as well. It's my personal number 6, so it's really, really high up there. It's well into my top 10. But I think in a really strong semi-final with a lot of pop songs that are going to really grab your attention, either this will stand out because it's quite dark, amidst the flashing lights and the fire and all the pyro, or people will just forget about it and it'll be a little bit like a black hole that people just skip over. And I really hope that that's not the case. I really, really want this to qualify because the final will be better for it. But I worry that this is not going to qualify. It would absolutely, if I could decide it would, but I worry that it's not going to make it, sadly.
Yeah, I agree, because I think it either has the potential to really stand out on its own as, you know, different to a lot of the other pop songs that we've seen, or it'll get kind of just forgotten about as being kind of like awkward in the middle of all these kind of pop songs. Yeah, I'm closer to James than Jack on this one. I'd put it as my number 20. So for me, it would still kind of make that cut in the final, but it's, you know, the songs I prefer. So that gives us a total of 51, which I think is the exact same total we gave Croatia in the last episode. So that's interesting. I think 51 is kind of becoming a bit of a, I've had it a couple of times on reveurovision. But that's it for today's.
The fourth or fifth.
Wow.
We've got, so it's a bit of a, you know, it's a hurdle to try and get over.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed, please like, comment and subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell notification to get notified every time we upload new content. So thank you for watching.